Now, I know what you're probably thinking. How in the world does this Evander Kane situation get worse? There's really no way out if you're San Jose. Key players want out. Hello guys, welcome back. My name is Nathan, and today we need to talk about some huge updates regarding the Evander Kane situation, a situation that's just gotten so much worse since we last talked about it 2 weeks ago, and back then we were talking about allegations on him betting on NHL games, a potential trade away from the San Jose Sharks, but we've gotten huge updates since that video about a potential Evander Kane trade, potential huge trade for the San Jose Sharks besides Evander Kane, and huge turmoil right now going within the San Jose Sharks. So when it comes to this whole crazy situation, what is the latest news on Evander Kane? What should we know about? And what trades could we potentially see with the San Jose Sharks? Watch till the end for all of the NHL trade rumors and all of the news. And make sure to hit that subscribe button if you are new. 60% of the people watching are not subscribed. If you like hockey, if you like news content, this channel is the place to be. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. How in the world does this Evander Kane situation get worse? And I am afraid to say that there is a lot of ways that it is getting worse right now. Again, from the last time we made a video a week and a half ago, there has been so much confirmed and so much reported that it's almost crazy to think how dysfunctional the San Jose Sharks are right now, but we'll get into that in just a second. With Evander Kane, obviously nobody is doubting the play on the ice. In 56 games this last year, he had 22 goals, 27 assists in 49 games played, was voted on as the Sharks MVP last year by multiple people in local Sharks media, and was looked at as one of the best Sharks players going into this next season. But again, those betting allegations came, and the trade rumors started to come, and everything started to get a lot more dysfunctional and a lot more confusing. And with Evander Kane's 4-year, $7 million contract, there's no way that anybody's going to take on that deal, especially with those allegations being potentially out there. Nobody's going to trade for a guy just for have him out of the game if he actually bet on his own NHL games. But when it comes to Evander Kane, it's not just an Evander Kane problem, it's a San Jose Sharks problem. There's been so much reported about the San Jose Sharks relationship with Evander Kane, how it's affecting other players, how it's affecting management, and how that management has controlled this whole situation. Now, if you thought that Sharks teammates wanting Evander Kane gone was a big bomb, wait until you hear what Kevin Kurz had to say in his latest for The Athletic. Just an absolute bomb of an article with so much to talk about, and I want to go through a couple of fantastic quotes here. Now, he was talking about a little bit about the relationship between Evander Kane and the San Jose Sharks, and one of the biggest quotes here that I thought was just humongous for this whole situation was this. Several key players informed Team Brass that if Kane was going to be a part of the Sharks going forward, they didn't want to be. That's how bad it got and how complicated this situation has become. Several key players don't want anything to do with Evander Kane, but not only just that, not only do they want him traded, if a trade can't happen, if Kane is a part of the Sharks next year, they want to be gone. They want to be traded to a different team. And again, we're not just talking about fourth liners here, several key players, and I'm not going to name names for speculation's sake, but when it comes to the San Jose Sharks, there's some really big names there. Erik Karlsson, Tomas Hertl, Brent Burns. You got some really solid players. There are some really big names on that team. And when it comes to San Jose, again, a ton of players apparently want out if Kane's going to be a part of the franchise, which, with how this sticky situation has become, with Kane not even really being able to be traded and maybe not a buyout is possible either, that makes it so much more complicated for San Jose, and that makes that locker room situation that much worse. It already wasn't looking that great with Kane being there, but now, with the Sharks players not even wanting to be there, it just makes it so much worse for everybody involved. Now, there are so many more fantastic quotes in this article, and we'll go through them. The next one I wanted to point out was this one. Guys were going into Doug's office all year long, according to one source, saying Kane had to go. All Doug Wilson would say is, all teams have locker room issues, which just isn't true. Not the teams that win anyway. And another source as well, the Sharks ignored everything, said an NHL agent who represents at least one player on the team turned a blind eye. And And those quotes are just absolutely just unruly for a team like San Jose, and kind of cryptic for a team like San Jose, who is trying to get rid of Evander Kane, but at the same time it seems like they didn't really want to really do anything with it, or didn't want to solve this issue, and they really could have, because let's be honest, before all these allegations, they maybe could have traded like Evander Kane a year ago and gotten something for him, but now you would definitely have to pay to get rid of Evander Kane. On top of the allegations, nobody's going to take him, and now you have this absolute locker room dysfunction, and you almost have to bring this player back due to his contract. You can't buy him out right now because the buyout window is closed, and this whole situation just got so much more murkier. But again, key players want out if Evander Kane is not traded, and that to me just speaks so many volumes for the disaster that the San Jose Sharks are in right now. But again, for the San Jose Sharks, if we're talking about key players, there are a ton of big names there. Logan Couture, Timo Meier, Kevin Labanc. You got some really good ones. Tomas Hertl, Erik Karlsson, Brent Burns. These are guys that can still play the game very, very well. And if Evander Kane is not traded, would want to be out from these San Jose Sharks. Not saying all those guys would be, but some of those guys apparently would want their way out. And this situation just continues to get worse the more we go into this article. The next one as well, just talking about how Evander Kane was just as advertised, basically, for the San Jose Sharks. In the article, it says, the Sharks' displeasure of Kane stemmed from a general disrespect for team rules, including routinely being late for games and practices, not adhering to the dress code, and having poor practice habits. At one point late in the season, according to his source, Kane nearly came to blows with assistant coach Rocky Thompson in a meeting after arguing where he was supposed to be positioned on the power play. Several sources indicated there was a general frustration among the team that Kane was permitted to get away with whatever he wanted with no repercussions. On previous Sharks teams, Kane had to answer to older, respected veterans like Joe Pavelski, Joel Ward, Paul Marino, and Joe Thornton, but that is not the case anymore. So that, again, just shows how much of a special case this is with Evander Kane, how he was treated differently from other San Jose Sharks players, and obviously with Evander Kane, compared to some of the other players, he is a better player, but at the same time, he looks like he definitely got special treatment because of how much of a poor off the ice person he was. I mean, being late to practice in games routinely, not adhering to the dress code, having poor practice habits, fighting for your assistant coaches. That to me is not surprising, but again, it just shows how bad this situation is with Evander Kane. And the San Jose Sharks gave him a 7-year contract. How the heck the San Jose Sharks did that is beyond me, but honestly, it's getting a lot less surprising, let's say, after the days go by. This is just a horrible situation for San Jose, and again, continues to get worse and worse somehow every single day. Now, the deeper we go into this article, the more that just gets absolutely spilled. He's now not having to really answer to anyone, said one leaked source. Nobody in the room is a fan of him. Booner likes him because he's a good player, because he genuinely is, but the off-ice stuff is just too much at this point. And then he said another leaked source suggested that Kane's only real companion in the dressing room is Timo Meier, and that the situation with Kane is also a Timo problem. Meier, who once said early in his career he tried to model his game after Kane, has had a pretty disappointing season as well. And he goes on to say, a source from the Hockey News as well said that one agent said to them, one of the clients in the Sharks just hates him, hates the negative energy he brings in the room. Only King can change that, but he may have gone too far with the current allegations. So there you go. Just so much more that we pretty much already knew, but it just confirms what we were already kind of thinking. And again, one quote says that nobody likes him, and another quote says maybe Timo Meier likes him, but that is just a maybe. So at the same time, although Evander Kane is a great player and obviously has the production that alludes to a top 6 guy and a great player there, it seems like there's only really one guy on that team that only kind of sort of likes him, and even then, it's not even that much of a confirmation, really. Besides that, everybody else seems to just not like him whatsoever, seems to hate the energy he brings in the locker room, hates the personality that Evander Kane is. And to me, with San Jose, I just have so much questions to ask here. How did you sign this guy to a 7-year deal? How do you think this is an okay situation to have? How do you keep this this for the past few seasons. And again, how do you bring this character into the locker room where everybody kind of hates him, everybody doesn't like him, and still think it's okay to keep? To me, with San Jose, this is just a horrible situation. A situation they probably could have solved a year ago, but they decided to sit on their butts and do nothing with it. And now they have this just poop sandwich on their desk, as they probably should. To me, this is just horrible. And again, as we talked about a little bit earlier, no NHL team that is successful has situations like this. Truly successful, at least. And you can see with San Jose's performance over the past couple of years hasn't been too fantastic. Now, Kevin Kurz goes on to finally say this: Wilson did explore trading Kane earlier this summer to no avail. A player who's known disruption in the locker room, as Kane reportedly has been at times throughout his career, particularly during his stint in Winnipeg, is virtually untradeable. Now, personally, looking at San Jose, I already thought that Tomas Hertl and likely Timo Meier would be gone, but there could be some more casualties. I mean, Kevin Labanc is a pretty big one. He's signed for 3 more years and could be another big part of that forward group that could be gone, and he could have some pretty good value if he has a breakout year or a rebound year next year. But again, you have a lot of contracts that just aren't able to really be traded. Even if Brent Burns and Erik Karlsson wanted out, who's going to take Erik Karlsson $11.5 million? And that's exactly why San Jose is in such a bad spot here, is even though they might have some leverage on some players, if Erik Karlsson wants out truly and he wants to go somewhere else, what are you going to do? Retain 50% on him and have 50% retained for the next 6 seasons? That to me is disastrous as well, and you're already bought out the contract of Martin Jones. There's really no way out if you're San Jose, and I feel so bad for whatever GM is going to be there next, because let's be honest, Doug Wilson is probably going to get canned pretty soon, and I honestly think he has to. This is just a disastrous situation that's been prolonged for way too long. But again, looking at the names that San Jose has, I think there'll be a lot of takers. And again, for Tomas Hertl, for Timo Meier, there could be some pretty big trade value out there for guys like that, especially Tomas Hertl could get a pretty good haul. So in that respect, there might be something to look forward to in San Jose, but you're looking forward to trading guys. That to me is the absolute worst. But honestly, the people I feel the worst for right now are San Jose Sharks fans. Not only did they go for so long through so many playoff disappointments and defeats, they now have to look this crap sandwich in the face and eat it as San Jose just implodes on its faces. If you know a Sharks fan, if any Sharks fans are watching this, I want to say sorry. If you have, I mean, we have some space in the Stars fan base. You want to come cheer for Joe Pavelski, we are here for you. We'll give you some virtual hugs. I just appreciate you guys sticking with your team, because it is definitely hard right now. But if you know a Sharks fan, give them a hug. Well, give them well wishes, because they absolutely deserve it. Because this situation is just horrible. And I don't really see many people talking about it. We've obviously made a video on it already on the channel, but it's gone pretty under the radar. But it is just a disastrous example of just character being so important in today's NHL, and really throughout the entire landscape of the NHL and its entire history. You need great leaders. You need great locker rooms, and San Jose is a big example of it. Nobody wants to play with Evander Kane. Nobody wants to play with Evander Kane's San Jose Sharks, and we could see some major repercussions this summer and next season and next year and the next year and the next year and the next year after that. But that'll be it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell if you've not already, for all the notifications, all the new videos going live. Make sure, of course, to comment down below what is your opinions on this entire Evander Kane situation. Who do you think San Jose will end up trading this offseason? Who do you think wants to go away from San Jose with this situation? Let me know your thoughts. What are your mock trades? And of course, make sure you hit this card right here to watch all my trade rumor videos right in one playlist. Make sure you share this video with your friends. Get it all out there to all the hockey fans you know. And I'll see you in the next video or stream. Thank you so much for watching. I'm about to hiccup, but I'm trying to hold it in. And I'll see you in the next one, boys and girls. Goodbye.